Yeah.
For me, it's. So I don't. We can talk about that.
Oh, I guess my mom and dad are.
That's advertising. That's advertising.
And not have someone just sitting there watching.
You know the difference.
Okay, call this meeting in order. This will be an open meeting and notice has been given to the public at least 24 hours prior to the meetings by forwarding the complete agenda to the Oconto County Reporter and all other news media who have requested the same. Copies of the complete agenda are available for inspection at the office of the city administrator. 6 p.m. meeting of the committee of the whole with the following agenda. Meeting call to order, roll call.
Mayor Cliff Martin,
Here.
Darrell Anderson,
Here.
D. John Levy,
Here.
Bob LaBrus,
Here.
Randy Sol,
Here.
Lori Stenstrup, Dan Zeller,
Yeah.
Attorney Pollard is excused.
We have a motion for approval of the agenda as stated. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried to approve the agenda. Motion for approval of minutes from the 8/20/24 meeting. Do they have any changes that was see or mistakes?
Motion to approve the minutes.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried to approve the minutes from the 8/20/24 council meeting. Public input. Public input. Third time, public input. Moving on to number 6, correspondence. Moving on to number 7, discussion, action, recommendation on the following old unfinished business. An ordinance regarding revisions of the government and administrative ordinance in the municipal code of ordinances to the city of Oconto, creation of a tourism commission.
You have your draft ordinance here that Frank put together. And when I was reading over it, I had tons of pen markings on it, like, I don't care for that, I don't care for that. And then I read the state statute, and a lot of it comes directly from the statute. So that's why I also included the statute in here, so you guys can refer to that as well, to see where a lot of these things came from. And then this is also just a little cheat sheet that I got from the League of Municipalities on some uses and stuff like that. So I just included that in for your information, and then whatever you guys don't like, do like, want to change, it's up to you, so.
Yes, Steve.
So this agenda that you put in here is just basically a list of suggestions and ideas, but not a bylaw, but you have to go by it.
A lot of it is law that they have to go by, some of the, so the blue part, okay, from the top of the commission, it has to be 4 to 6 members for the statute, one of which must be represented at the hotel motel. That's, the bottom part is just interest. So it has to be 4 to 6, the bottom part is just ideas, does not have to happen. Then the uses, that part in blue, the reasonably likely to generate overnight stays in local lodging establishments, pets and vets, those are terms that came from the statute. That's the one thing I just really thought that was important to focus on, the uses that they can use and having that in there. freedom of information. All these examples, these uses examples came right from the League of Wisconsin Municipalities website. So I thought they were good to just know.
Yes, but some of the language, we would have to clear up, especially because most of the time right now, it's a bed and breakfast, it's not our unit, or actually, bed and breakfast, I've been there, but those are one of the things that we have to couple of pounds too. But, and private homes and or cottages, some of that wording should be in to this draft of this ordinance, because I don't know, like you said, we don't have an up-to-date list, how many people are gonna get rid of this, in that, and there are certain things that you can do. This paragraph right at the end of the review, the use person, the exception, to pay and all the taxes, review, or district credit to be reviewed, or plus interest of 1% of the amount. And the unpaid balance, and a refund application is given, determining the ground of the person files a room tax return. So everybody has to basically sign one of these for city will handle. That person has to file a correct room tax return and permit according to this. It's on the, That's in the state statute. yes. It's on the second page at bottom, third, fourth paragraph. Correct room of municipality or district to inspect and audit his or her financial records. I know a lot of that should be confidential, but in order to get this thing fair for everybody, if there's a return, what you have to new return and there's permits. It's something should be.
Yeah, we are working towards that. And there's gonna be a letter going out, like I said, in the finance meeting. So that's right.
I think, I don't know if it helps, remember at all or not. You're completely correct about that. I think that would be more pertinent to the room tax ordinance that we passed last January to make sure that that wording is all correct. We'll have to go back and make a couple changes to that anyways. But as far as what we have here for this ordinance, this one is just in relation to creating the commission. But it's a second, we should make sure it's on an upcoming agenda or something to make sure we get the correct changes to that last January ordinance. You're onto something like that. So I think they're just kind of two separate ordinances that both need tweaking.
Yeah. Yes,
So in the draft, can we just add an additional item, item G, in reference, penalties for state statutes, blah, blah, blah. I'm just gonna have it in there, so at least we have language that this is really gonna happen. I just have one.
that's what
On this draft, is there like room for members to only serve 1-year terms? If this is a voluntary group, doesn't that seem like it's gonna be a lot of turnaround, 1 year only? I'm thinking maybe, if anything, a little bit longer than a year term to be appointed to this.
and I think it should, the position should be alternate, staggered.
Even 2 years or something like that, but 1 year seems like you don't even get your feet wet with policies, knowledge, anything. And I know we're talking about having a different type of onboarding for the council people. I think it takes months to even feel somewhat a little bit comfortable in what's going on any committee or council.
And I think when you're, right now, we don't have a ton of money in here, but in the future we will. If you're working on large projects or long-term projects, sometimes you want some stability and some people who are part of that project for maybe it's integrity.
So that one, the 1 year term, I was kind of questioning, and then also on the back page, questioning the expenditures, $15,000 shall be brought to the common council. I think that's a very high number in my opinion. I don't know how feels in that, but
John,
What do you have on the harbor commission? You have a limit of 10. You don't have to come to council.
Then you don't have to go to the meeting. I don't know,
If it's budgeted.
if it's a budget item.
Right.
So
Yes, Steve.
was there a reason why this was increased to 15 then, or just we just didn't remember the law?
I don't know where that came from. I think it was just a starting point.
So are the other commissions, both, do they have the same kind of limitations before it has to go?
Usually has, when you guys set up in April, your organizational meeting, you set that number at 10,000. It used to be three years ago, it used to be 5,000, 3,000 or 10,000, 3,000. And then it was increased to 10,000 because it's a budgeted amount. If it's not budgeted, then you have to come.
You have your hand up.
Classification piece, when we started at 3,000, I believe we went to 15, the other administrator was here. And then, you want 10, is it? 10 was approved at, where, was it?
Yeah. I think you're right, it was up to 15, but then when we were so tight,
Yes,
like, we
and
need to
then
lower
we-
that.
So we just started at 3,000 way back then. So,
Yeah, but then it was just, 3,000 was too low, because people are coming to, the meetings were so long, and we couldn't get invoices paid quick enough, it was a hassle.
So can we try to make it uniform across the commissions and say 10,000, and then, if not, like, language, if not budget, process needs to be?
Yep, whatever you guys want.
That's what I would prefer also. So it's the same across all commissioners?
For the term, I did see one, group tax ordinance where it had, staggered terms for 3-year appointments. But we also have some committees that have 5-year appointments. Do you guys have any preference on what you think that should be?
I would just provide, honestly, because to Lori's point, you're barely getting your feet, you're trying to understand how the committee or the commission functions. And then you need to have, obviously, looking through your agendas and what your projects are for the year. I don't know anybody else's thoughts.
I think we should go 1, 2, and 3, because basically they want to sign the same council. So, you know what I'm saying? It might be a new city council person that would start this workplace or something. And these, citizens, whatever. I think that as a city council, we're going to put 2 city council people on there. It should go 1, 2, and 3, maybe never the first place to go. We should think,
Yeah, they could be off.
It could be elected.
well, it could be somewhere else, and then you still have your citizens that are still there, and you're still gonna have a hotel representative no matter what.
So the terms might only apply to 3 out of 5 people.
What we do
basically.
for all other committees is the terms don't apply to the alders, they just stay for their
Right,
term.
ordinary,
Then-
liaison things,
Correct,
also
yeah.
just be for whoever else is on the thing. I think that, to me, makes sense. Whatever that time period is,
One thing I wanted to ask Frank is,
I was almost, it's hard to get. I would like 5, but 5 is a long year to commit. If someone came up to me and said, will you do this for 5 years? I don't know.
We do have, I agree with you, we do have quite a few committees that actually are 5-year, quite a few, and people do resign. You know, if you just cut it up and you can't do it anymore, people do resign.
that will
Three
PFC.
strikes, you're out.
A lot, we do a lot.
Well, I think a part of that, anybody making a determination for this is how frequently it's being, if you're meeting every month, obviously it might be too much, but if you're meeting kind of ad hoc, or like I think it comes in your quarterly, at times one month. I mean, that may make a difference on whether someone is signed up for 5 years or not.
Go ahead, Riley.
Just a thought, if there's 5 members, let's say there's just hypothetically the mayor and the council, 2 of them are on a whatever. Then if there's 3 other citizens, 2 citizens plus a hotel motel representative, so if there's 3 other people, if you have them on 3-year terms, every year, one of those 3 people would potentially be able to get swapped out. So a 3-year term for each of 3 different people might be easy to keep track of.
Yeah. I still think if you're taking, if you're going to dissolve the tourism committee, then the tourism commission has to meet on it. Because you're basically doing what the tourism committee has done. So that's one of the things we should have in there, is more committees instead of annual meetings for quarterly. Yes.
Yeah, that's one of my questions.
So Riley's point, then 3 years is probably enough.
Yeah.
You know, any other, go ahead, Dan.
Also, the reporting obligation, I think that, to me, it should be monthly also. Keep everybody up to date, what's going on.
Probably report to the committee of whole meetings, like the department report, sort of.
Yeah, right.
Yep, have that added right on that.
That's fair.
Yeah, it says, number one, that the mayor may recommend 3 members of the common council for appointment, which may include the mayor. But then over here, it just says a council member. So does that, I mean, is it gonna be 3 from the council? Or if you go to where it says commissions, it says mayor, council member.
In our ordinances, it does say the common council is composed of the alderman and the mayor. I think it
Yes.
falls in that category, but I do think we need to clean that up, and I did talk to Frank about this. There needs to be one person that is almost out. That person does not need to be a resident of the city. So there's 2 residents, 1 person that's representing the hotel motel. And does it see 3 members of the council? That's 6 then. I think we need to adjust that.
But 3, what was the mayor? Over here, it says.
Can be the mayor.
Yeah.
It
Over
doesn't
here,
have-
it says maybe 4 to 6 members.
Yeah, yeah, but this is saying shall consist of 5 members. So it's just fairly confusing.
Actually, the mayor isn't a voting, the mayor usually isn't a voting member. They just sit in the meeting.
He is on the finance.
I think that's what we should do.
You vote.
On finance.
The finance and planning, yes. Yes, before your arm gets tired,
Yeah,
I know.
no, that's okay, I'll keep holding it, that's fine. So I'm open, I think 2 representatives from this body, including the mayor, whether the mayor or not, that's up for us to decide. But I think that's a good number out of 5. And, I really like the idea of 2 additional citizens to be chosen by the mayor. I don't think they should be the chamber representative or the TEDCO representative, mostly because if they're potentially going to be receiving any sort of funds or whatever, it's just a little. But I do really like the idea of having those people in the advisory members now voting, just to keep them with the group, because they have some insights that I think are just invaluable to that group. But I thought if you could invite them kind of into the discussion at least, even if they didn't have a vote, I think that'd be really helpful.
We have advisory members of the committees, so that could be, that's very doable.
Alright, so can you recap that, and based on the addendum? So it would be 3, would be the mayor plus 2 council, 2 citizens,
The alder person or the mayor, only 2. We want to keep it at 5 in case there's a tie, you don't want to.
So it could be, just for example, it could be you and Riley and not me. Or it could be me and Bob or whatever, but just 2 from the council, and it could include the mayor.
so then 2 council, 2 citizens, a local hotel motel, and then, the chamber and or TED court is non-voting.
You could put optional advisory.
You use them as an alternative, because if you don't have enough people,
We could, but we have one committee that does that, the tourism committee. No other committee does that, and there's never any issues. So I don't know if that kind of money is
You're talking
water.
You're talking around.
You're easy tonight, though. So, and the individual from the hotel motel does not have to come from the local establishments, so none of the, we could pick somebody out of the Green Bay area.
I thought it had
Well,
to be-
they,
I thought it had to be.
the Bay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what's that?
I thought it had to be for local. hotel.
It has to be, yeah,
Hotel state
yeah, it
statute.
has to be someone from our local.
Oh,
Yes, it has to be.
Or someone they appoint, so they don't have to live here, they say this is our.
oh.
Yeah.
And I misunderstood that.
And the mayor appoints all of these. With all.
Yes, Dan?
If we're talking about getting rid of the tourism commission or the committee,
That one doesn't make sense.
okay, yeah, do we need F then for the budget? Seeing they would be spending the tax room.
Yeah, I think we still want that, yeah, because we want the tourism commission to propose a budget that they're gonna spend X amount on Waterfest, X amount for Harvest Fest, and or fly-in or stuff like that.
They'll also present what they think the revenue will be based on, their reports that they've been doing, so they'll come up with that number as well.
So this basically,
Bob, what's the-
Actually, you almost have to give a commission budget for this year because we don't know what we're gonna have. We need money to promote the city of Macomb. Therefore, if you give, say, a budget time of $20,000, and plus, this next year is gonna be something different because in April and May, with the walleyes and the NFL draft, you're gonna have a huge income coming in those 2 months. Whereas the following year, you're not gonna have the NFL draft or anything, so it's gonna be fluctuating when we first start. So we have to be careful of what we're doing here, to make sure they still have some money.
you still need money on.
They're probably still gonna save money by not having the committee, and just doing this.
You have your hand up.
Say no.
I'm sorry. Any other comments or?
I remember. So basically, then this commission, like any other commission that we have currently set up, they present the budget to council then.
Yes, they would have to, but other committees don't, the department heads presents it. Department heads, so they would need someone to present.
See their budget, they do their own budgets, both chiefs. The PSC doesn't have a budget, go by really.
Right.
It's basically the two chiefs, they present the budget to the police and fire commission once we work through it.
Yeah, so in September, all the department heads will present their budgets to their chiefs in September. And then in October, the department heads present the budget to the finance committee.
Any other comments or, yes, Smiley?
I just wanted to say I really like this as well. Useful, helpful contribution.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm very pleased with what this is shaping up. to become. So, very exciting.
Yes, yes. Dan?
I think we're gonna need the chamber and Ted Court for a while at least. To get everybody going and, get everybody walking in the same direction and
I definitely want somebody from the chamber because I think we're gonna get the chamber interacting more with the tourism commission now. So we know what the left arm is and the right arm is doing, because, you know, the chamber is doing their thing, which is good. I mean, they've done a lot of good things, but I think we need to hold them together more.
I think that those advisory and ongoing committees are critical component of everything.
Absolutely.
You have any other knowledge and resources, so.
You bet. Yeah.
Then we'll have those changes and have a new draft at the council meeting.
For next week.
Thank you.
You bet.
Question?
Yes.
I know we're trying to push this through forward and the wheels tend to go slowly. Is there any way we have to wait a whole month before we meet again on this?
No,
It's going to the council meeting next week.
next week, Tuesday.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. Brittany will get on the straight right away. Okay. Moving on to number 8. Discussion, action, recommendation on the following new business department reports. Folks have your police, fire.
You don't have your police actually.
No, the
Cassie,
police did not.
she meant to hand it out today, but then she forgot before she left, so she will be giving it to you for the council meeting. And also, you don't have a public works report, I don't think. Jeremy will be here at the council meeting. He was unable to be here tonight, but he will be here at the council meeting and he'll give you your report then.
Next week.
But I will-
Go ahead, John. Josh ain't here, so we
So I
got
get
to work on it.
Josh's time, then we part of the police time?
Hey, Josh.
Just a couple things, Bogo will be starting at the campground September 16th through October 31st, so that's buy one night, get one night, up to a 3-night stay. Just a reminder that, Saturday the 21st of September is the fly-in at the airport. And then also on the 28th, Saturday the 20th of September, from the Fire Express, on Main Street. And then, I've got the revenue reports for, Oakwood and Breakwater. If you look those over, if you have any questions, or if you didn't have a chance to look at it yet, you guys put it out for the meeting. You're always welcome if you give a call and stop it.
See, we're getting closer on boat launching with the fishing meeting, where they,
Yeah, and then of course you got your duck hunting moose hunting also. And as long as the weather stays good. They'll also, they do that extended duck season again in December, we won't keep on rush duck in, so obviously people with passes don't pay, but for the, they call it open water hunting. We get a lot of people that come out of town for that, so they'll purchase that. $7. But I just got one more thing. About 2 weeks ago, I got with the campground staff. And we would have enough help to open for the draft. Draft is April 24th, 25th, and 26th. Our goal would be to open on Monday, April 21st. If you look at the calendar, technically that's only 1 week earlier than the actual May 1st, Thursday, May 1st opening date. But obviously it's something if we commit to, we have to be here. Depending how many people, backup plan, if something would happen, that we could get the water backup plan would be that we have a meter set up down at the street shop. It might look interesting, but you would be able to fit people around the building, they can fill up, we can meter it and tell them what it has. If it would come to that, because that would be the biggest thing to worry about would be the water. Because the way it's set up out there is if it goes on, it has to stay on when it goes off. Often if it stays off, it doesn't have to go all the line, so. The other thing that was brought up was, obviously, we have to make sure that the water line's cleaned up way before that time, because you can't have that stuff on those sites if you're doing it, obviously, so. There's a new gal, she sent me an email yesterday that just want to know if we'd still be able to put the big sliding spots that we really put the posts into the water trees. And then she just said she'd like to meet at some time and meet me. And I'd also think it'd be a good idea to offer to come to parking lot too. So then we can set up a meeting time right from the start, so it doesn't get out of control like it's been 2 years now. There's a lot of stuff in the trees and stuff out there, we gotta pick it up so we can open up and. Yeah. I mean, it's a great thing, don't get me wrong, but you are getting the whole thing for free, plus the electricity tax, so I mean, at least you can just pick up that new stuff. It's not that simple, so, but anyway, then, what I'm doing is I'm calling around to other places that are gonna open up, it'd either be you can stay as you want, 1, 2, 3 nights or more, or if you wanna put a 3-night minimum on it, you have to commit to 3 nights. And then, obviously, you have to let us know what you want for a price per night. Do you wanna go with a straight rate, or do you wanna have a price for interior river like we have presently? It's not that much difference, I mean, it's only $2, but, or just have a flat rate of just a couple things that we're throwing around, not that it's in stone, because obviously you guys can make that decision. Just $80 to $90 a night. I know those of you watch the news, the EA's going for 175.
3-day minimum.
And a 3-day minimum. I don't know, if you're still making extra money, you're making more than you make on the regular camping season, I don't know, it's like a pound of extra cash. It would be up to me, obviously, but $80 or $90 a night in that range, whatever we think. But then, we also talked about, then we did a hold of, Discover Green Bay and find out if we have an informational booklet or if you can be in for that, let people know that we're, open. Also, the Green Bay Chamber and West Bolt are the same, I don't know that, because we didn't call anybody yet. And then obviously we can put on the county website, and then also our own webpage, Facebook. So that's just that stuff we were throwing out a couple weeks ago.
I think it should be at least a 3-night minimum. And then you could just, with a flat rate, like you said, you just come up with a, yes, Steve.
John, don't feel bad about charging. We need to make some revenue here. We've got a beautiful site. You guys sell it all the time. I said, I don't think anybody is, I think everybody that's gonna be coming into the draft expects that the things are gonna be a little more pricey. We don't need to gouge anybody for sure, but this is an opportunity for us to bring in some additional revenue too. So don't feel bad about that, because we have wonderful amenities.
Well, go ahead, Bob.
Actually, a week from tomorrow, part of that, please, you can set your prices with recommended to the city council.
Sure.
Because actually, if you want to spend $100, you're still undercutting some of the other places.
Sure.
And you still got a 3-day minimum, you know? So,
Yeah, well, I basically, I'm seeing if it's okay with kind of going forward before going backwards. Because if we would talk about this next week, you'd still have to come to the next month, or another month behind. So, point of this was kind of just get some framework, and then take it to next week's. With some, at least some ideas, like the 3-night minimum, and that.
that should just stand.
And then $100,
You just don't get your companies. You got websites, maybe just go to here and say, we
So I know for sure, Brown County, Brown County. And then the email is going to be too bad, but that update, I'm just watching.
I did, after the meeting last night, the tourism meeting, I had a chance to chat with Lynn early and asked kind of how her Airbnbs are doing, and she said, some of her stuff is definitely booked out. She said that other people that have Airbnbs that she knows have not been. So she said, really, she said, oh, the people are gonna come to Oconto, and she said, I think it's gonna be limited spending, they're gonna be here to spend the night, and they're gonna take off and go, because they wanna be where the events are happening. She said maybe they're gonna hit up a restaurant or two for breakfast. She said, but she doesn't feel like there's gonna be a huge influx as far as some of the other areas that are maybe breakfast or a lunch and gas, because people are gonna wanna eat down by where everything's happening with the Packers, so something to take into consideration.
That's just what they were saying on the news too, is obviously it's gonna fill up within. The work starts to spread out.
Okay. Good. Thank you, John. Administrator's report.
Okay. The mayor, Joe, and myself went to O'Connell Falls on August 21st to introduce Joe to them and kind of talk about what O'Connell Falls needs was as far as the building inspection position. So we kind of moving on that a little bit. Today we met with Alan Jarrett to talk about the developers agreement. We did make progress, but we're still working on it. 2025 budget is coming together. I still don't have all the departments' proposed drafts. We're waiting for a couple more. But like I said, the committees will be reviewing and approving their budgets at their September meetings, and then the finance committee will meet on the 2025 proposed budget as a whole on Wednesday, October 23rd. The November 5th presidential election is coming up fast. We're receiving voter registrations and absentee requests every single day, which is great. I do have a question on this. The referendum question that the last council passed will be on this November ballot. Whether or not the council should increase from 6 members to 8 members. Right now, I'm working on compiling some data on what the expense side of that, how it'll affect our budget, just so people have that information. It is gonna cost more money. Joe and myself met last week with Duff to kind of discuss the inspector transition and how that's gonna work. Duff had quite a few open permits, and we kind of discussed with Joe just take them over, where Duff handle them, so we ultimately did decide that Joe's gonna take everything over. We did pay Duff every year, so he's obviously there if we need him for questions or anything like that, but otherwise Joe's taking over everything. And then we're working on a new, I kind of explain this a little bit, we're working on a new citation issuance procedure. The police department will no longer be issuing citations for code violations like property cleanups or that kind of thing. City ordinance violations. Jeremy and Joe were assigned a badge number from the police department. Our ordinance does give them authority to do this. So moving forward, they will be issuing those citations. I think it's going to be a positive thing. I think it just gives them more control. I mean, they like to work with the residents to try to get these issues taken care of before it has to get to that point. And it kind of just gives them another job, more control. And then ultimately, if it's not, they're not complying, they're not working, they can issue those citations and get it taken care of.
Okay, thank you, Whitney. Just real quick, what was that meeting date in October? The meeting just up?
We just set it today at the finance committee, so that's why you don't know it yet.
Oh.
Wednesday, October 23rd.
Indeed.
So have we finalized, kind of what the falls in, we've agreed as far as Joe's position and salary and all that wonderful stuff?
We have a verbal agreement. We are working on getting something in writing. It just, they need to be positive in their budget before they can make any sign on the dotted line. Right now, we're getting our budgets together, but we're not finalized to the point where we can sign on the dotted line. But we do have verbal agreements. We have been communicating with them, and they're very on board with it. As of right now, it just comes down to the budgeting side.
So by the end of this year, we'll begin talking about it for sure.
Yes.
That's the plan. Yeah, and when we met with them, they have a lot of needs. They
Yes.
don't really make a positive impact there, so just judging on that alone, I think they're really gonna like this.
They have a hired gun inspector for 4 hours a week. Per month.
4 hours a week.
4 hours a week, which is not much. Like that.
good news.
Yeah, it was a great meeting.
Okay, tourism, Daryl.
How long are we trying to get in agreement? With the Clinton Falls, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years?
I think that's gonna be difficult, only, from the beginning, I think it might have to be just a 1 year, just on the numbers side of things, because it's gonna be difficult to know how his time is gonna be spread across. And really, when they see the value that he's bringing there too, I think that might influence the numbers. So going into it, not really knowing what kind of revenue they're gonna get from the building permits and, they're a little more hesitant. So I wouldn't wanna sign a multiple year agreement, not knowing what that's gonna look like. But I think we definitely do need to do that for our budget security. But I think once we kind of can get something put together, Frank has it on his list, we'll bring it to the council and have a discussion on what all the rules about it.
Pete indicated, Pete Wills, the administrator, he kind of indicated that 1 year is start.
Yeah, to make sure.
Make sure they understand how much Joe can help their end out.
And it will depend on how much time we spend there, how much we would need them to contribute as well.
There's a split as far as this time for versus the kind of calls.
Right, we're planning right now, 3 days a week to be here, 2 days a week to be there.
And that would be after the first year. Right now, he's full-time. Tourism.
Alright. So yeah, I appreciate being added to the department reports here. It's a recent addition just to kind of keep the rest of the council up to date on this topics that we're talking about at our tourism committee meetings. And just a briefing on last night, Mr. David Bukowski came in to give us an update on Copperfest. I know Gary Zahn came in earlier in the year to update us, but he's kind of the next person in command, and he reminded us that Copperfest actually had a really good year. They were in the black again this year, and they're working towards being a little bit more efficient with their inclement weather situation with tents and rain and that sort of a thing, and they're starting with the initial phases of kind of looking into a possible pavilion or some sort of structure to keep some of that stuff dry, minimizing some of the tent rental fees and things like that. So they started getting some quotes and things like that, looking at it, and we were helping give them some ideas to maybe reduce some of their costs by talking to the high school. Mr. Borat there, he is the one who, bringing in another one of my points, was working on getting us some quotes for the visitor center kiosk that we're looking at doing possibly at the Quick Trip park location. And he came back with some of his initial preliminary numbers for concrete and materials for that visitor center kiosk, and they looked quite favorable. He gave a few numbers, I don't want to misquote them off the top, but it was in the 800 to 1,000-ish for the concrete. We're talking a 12 to 14 foot covered area. And additionally, Sandy was able to acquire a Quick Trip grant for $2,500 that can kick in toward that project. So between the cost of materials only, through working with the high school, plus some of the grant money offsetting that kiosk, we're gonna be able to get a really nice, and we're still gonna run the Jungle Cruise to Parks meeting next week or whatever, as far as that stuff goes as well. But we're on track to be able to potentially get this installed sooner than later with the help of the high school. So it seems like they were kind of hungry for those sort of collaborative projects, so if we can point other groups like the Copperfest committee in that direction, we have to then some money, keep high school kids busy. It just seems like a really good win-win situation. So in addition to kind of moving forward on the Copperfest stuff, the updates, the mayor sends an update on the veterans banners that he's working with Team Buckner on. They did send out a dozen of the veteran banners, so anyone who's submitted those applications in the past and is waiting for the banners, they're being processed. Again, last month we talked about how they like to be in batches of 10 or 12. So that was the delay getting to this point, but for any who's asking, they're on their way. We're still working on some creative ideas to promote the tourism page. It's a new page, so it's really slow getting new likes and followers. One of the ideas that we have, and we're going to be implementing an annual calendar. We're going to set aside a few budget dollars to have the impressions print off an entire year's worth of Oconto events, and they're going to be slid into different local businesses are going to pass them up to their customers to let their patrons know what's going on in Oconto again. And we thought if we put a little QR code for those who are tech savvy on that, people can scan it with their phone and it'll take them right to that Facebook page. The whole idea of what we're trying to pull everything together with our photo contest to basically generate content. So leads me to the next point. We have the photo contest. There's going to be a $50 gift package worth of prizes for Harvest Fest and for the flying. So we're going to be promoting. We've got flyers made up. I should have brought them with me to pass it around. But we're going to promote that, get people to submit some images from these Oconto events, and then that can go into, we'll have permission to use those photos for these calendars, things like that, and then we'll give them a reward for whoever the winners are of these things. But the whole goal is to promote tourism, and if we can get content from the people who are attending our events to push forward through our social media to then be able to have something to promote to other people where we don't have someone on staff going around snapping pictures of our different events. So when we're trying to put out promotional materials, it's kind of like, well, what are we going to use? So we thought contests for people at our events would give us that, and then we can tie that into the calendars and try to basically just pull it all together. So it's kind of a few different things we got going on: the photo contest, the calendars, and then the Facebook page are kind of a package thing that we're working on kind of together. So those are just some things that we've got in the works. The big one really is that visitor center kiosk. And again, I just wanted to thank Sammy for putting together that grant to get some additional funds for us. And then I guess the only thing I have on top of that is just another reminder. Harvest Fest is coming up on the 28th, and we got the flying on the 21st. We did do a $1,000 donation to the Chamber of Commerce to the Harvest Fest, the Greenville Harvest Fest. And then the decorations down Main Street related to the pumpkins and the corn stalks and all that kind of fun stuff. You can look for that to start showing up around September 23rd. I believe is the date where it's going to go out down Main Street. So just a little bit of what's going on in tourism.
Just to comment along with it, I'm part of the group of ladies that does the decorating on Main Street. Last year we had, the last couple of years we had a family that actually went out to the field and helped chop down the corn stalks. They're unable to do that this year, so they're needing some bodies out there. So if you know of anybody that is willing to help participate, if you've got a sickle, they have, I guess the harbor and wherever they get this from, they actually cut down the corn stalks, and then the group that's out there actually comes up to me and puts them together as and then puts them in binding from. So when it comes to town, we kind of have them placed by the poles that we're decorating. So if you know of anybody, they're in need of some help for that.
Thank you, Riley. Moving on to 8B, the ordinance regarding revisions to the government and administration ordinance and the municipal code of ordinances for the city of Oconto, termination of the housing authority.
Explain that a little bit, I guess. Frank thought it was a good idea to terminate the housing authority. It was created many years ago. From my understanding, as a way to bring affordable housing to the city of Oconto. Since that time, it's really changed into something different. It's now privately owned. It kind of started 2 years ago when our insurance company, our health insurance company said, these employees can't get their health insurance. Why are they on there? So we did a lot of digging back, like how did that happen? How are they on there? our employees only pay a percentage of their health insurance premiums. The Oklahoma Housing Authority employees pay 100%. That's, you can't discriminate like that. So it was just a very strange thing. They wanted us to kick them off. I worked with Nicole Carey, who worked there at the time, and asked the insurance company if we could keep them on one more year to kind of get it sorted out and make sure we had to get rid of that before we actually did. Because insurance was fine. And then we ultimately made the decision this year, we had to pick them off our insurance, so they're no longer a part of our health insurance. And then they have a lot of turnover in their ownership, and there's been some, the city isn't a part of it anymore. We've got their, the authority, the housing authority, we don't get their minutes, we don't get their agendas. It's just not the same thing that it used to be. It's not a city entity anymore. So,
How much money is that usually saved?
no. We don't contribute financially to anything. So it's just more of a, yeah, yeah.
Termination of housing authority.
Motion by Riley, second by Bob.
Daryl Anderson,
Yes.
Steve Donlevy, Bob LaFrette, Riley Soul, Marty Stenstrup, Dan Zeller.
Moving on to C, approval of mayoral appointment of David Kowalski to the Technology Committee for a one-year term ending May 1st, 2025. Second.
Steve Donlevy,
Aye.
Bob LaFrette,
Aye.
Riley Soul,
Aye.
Lori Stenstrup, Dan Zeller,
Aye.
Gerald Anderson.
Okay, approval of mayoral reappointment of Denise Hornblatt to the Technology Committee for a one-year term ending May 2025.
I'll make a motion to appoint Jenny Berglund to the technology committee.
Bob, second.
Bob LaFrette,
Aye.
Riley Soul,
Aye.
Lori Stenstrup, Dan Zeller,
Aye.
Gerald Anderson,
Aye.
Steve Donlevy.
Approval of mayoral appointment of Ron Dahl to the zoning board of appeals for a 3-year term ending May 1st, 2028.
Make a motion to approve.
Second. Lori.
Riley Soul, Lori Stenstrup, Dan Zeller,
Aye.
Gerald Anderson,
Aye.
Steve Donlevy, Bob LaFrette.
8F, we will skip as Bob Heiser has elected not to be on the zoning board of appeals. He did that on Friday after this was sent out. 8G, approval of mayoral appointment of Gene Felt to the board of review for a partial 5-year term ending June 1st, 2027.
Lori Stenstrup, Dan Zeller,
Aye.
Gerald Anderson,
Aye.
Steve Donlevy,
Aye.
Bob LaFrette,
Aye.
Riley Soul.
Moving on to 8H, approval of mayoral appointment of Rob Lane to the board of review for partial 5-year term ending June 1, 2028.
Make a motion to approve Rob Lane.
I'll second.
Dan Zeller,
Aye.
Gerald Anderson,
Aye.
Steve Donlevy,
Aye.
Bob LaFrette,
Aye.
Riley Soul,
Aye.
Lori Stenstrup.
Okay. Approval of mayoral appointment of Kim Reichstad to the Parks and Rec Committee for 5-year term ending August 1st, 2029.
I'll second.
Gerald Anderson,
Aye.
Steve Donlevy,
Aye.
Bob LaFrette,
Aye.
Riley Soul, Lori Stenstrup, Dan Zeller.
And on the HA, approval of mayoral reappointment of Carrie Utes to the Ethics Board for a 3-year term ending July 1, 2027.
Motion to approve the
One second.
Steve Donlevy,
Aye.
Bob LaBrette,
Aye.
Riley Soul, Lori Stenchuk, Dan Zeller,
Aye.
Gerald Anderson.
Aye.
18, approval of mayoral reappointment of Marcia President to the Ethics Board for a 3-year term ending July 1, 2027.
I'll make a motion to approve Marcia President to be reappointed to the Ethics Board.
Second.
Bob LaBrette,
Aye.
Riley Soul, Lori Stenchuk, Dan Zeller,
Aye.
Gerald Anderson,
Aye.
Steve Donlevy.
Aye.
Approval of mayoral reappointment of Ellen Weber to the Ethics Board for a 3-year term ending July 1, 2027.
Riley Soul,
Aye.
Lori Stenchuk, Dan Zeller,
Aye.
Gerald Anderson,
Aye.
Steve Donlevy,
Aye.
Bob LaBrette.
8M, approval of mayoral appointment of Rick Schultz to the Building Inspection Ad Hoc Committee.
Second.
Second.
Lori Stenchuk, Dan Zeller,
Aye.
Gerald Anderson,
Aye.
Steve Donlevy,
Aye.
Bob LaBrette,
Aye.
Riley Soul.
8M, approval of mayoral appointment of Ken Hayes to the Harbor Commission for a partial 3-year term ending August 1st, 2026.
Dan Zeller.
Aye.
Gerald Anderson,
Aye.
Steve Donlevy,
Aye.
Bob LaBrette,
Aye.
Riley Soul, Lori Stenchuk.
Yes.
Number 9, you got this one, Bob? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion to adjourn carried. Well, thanks, everyone. Appreciate all the time you guys.
I need to ask him what's going on in the city.
Make this question about the tourism commission.
Yeah, he won't tell it, you know. It's just- Yeah.
That's why they call it a draft. I'm sorry.
For 3 weeks.